yourself. Hi, I'm Connie Wolshansky, founder of Discover Ed Consulting, and I have here with me.
Hi, I'm Anita Batt. I'm the Director of Early Childhood Education at the Kiva Hebrew Day School in Southfield, Michigan.
Great. Thank you so much for coming on, Anita. I'm so happy to have you here. So I have a couple questions for you about the Discover Ed curriculum series. My first question is, how do you feel that the curriculum has added value to your staff's planning and the way that they structure their curriculum and the way that they bring out their provocations and their inspiration? How has it added value to the staff?
So we purchased the curriculum right before Pesach, and I had already committed as a staff. We had worked together, and we had decided that our Pesach curriculum, we were going to dabble with having a lot of experiences rather than just having the traditional project-based curriculum that my teachers have done in the past. Mm-hmm. So by purchasing the curriculum and using the curriculum, my teachers got a lot of visual cues and a lot of framework and what that experiential experience was going to look like within the classroom. So we used bits and pieces of it along the way. Each class, for the most part, each class had 2 or 3 experiences that they were responsible for. And then we used it as a culmination to make an experiential Haggadah rather than more of a project-based or framed Haggadah that they've done in the past. So for my teachers, it gave them a sense of freedom that they could think outside the box. It gave them a sense of what other opportunities are available. And for my non-experienced teachers, it gave them a whole different framework on what was age appropriate, developmentally appropriate for the different classrooms. So it just gave us a structure that wasn't in place before.
Wow. That's great. Thank you for sharing that. So that brings me to my next question. As a progressive school and as a progressive director who's really moving your school in that direction a lot more, how did you feel this curriculum was used as a frame, like you were saying that it is a framework for your staff, but a lot of the progressive approach and a lot of the Reggio-inspired approach is not to follow a specific curriculum, like is to really go from the interest of within the child. So how is this curriculum not a contradictory to that? How does it complement taking from the interest of the child?
Right, that's a great question. So for us, we are new to Reggio. My staff is new to Reggio, and we're on a journey. I explained it to my staff as a journey, and that we're going to have road maps and road stops along the way. But they needed to have a sense of what those stops were going to be. They needed to know what the destination looks like. And so for me to say, okay, we're going to be a Reggio-inspired school, and we're going to be child-centered, and we look at the child as being capable and competent, and the activities that we have to plan have to be intentional. That was for them to philosophical. There was no tachlis to it. It wasn't concrete enough. So my staff needed a visual for that. They needed to know where we're headed, but not just where we're headed. They needed to know what that destination was going to look like to figure out how they fit into that, to figure out how their students fit into that. So by using the curriculum, they were able to now have a visual cue. Okay, you want us to be a Reggio-inspired school. Well, it was not so foreign to me because now I have this whole framework, this kind of roadmap and where it's going to be headed. Will we use it for every single thing? Absolutely not. We will now use Reggio and our Reggio-inspired practice to build on that. And for me, I looked at the curriculum as like that foundation that would give my staff the springboard to move forward.
I love that. That's such a great way of saying that, like that real springboard to move forward, because that's exactly what I wanted it to be. I want teachers to be able to look at it and say, I love that. This is how I'm going to make it better. I love that. This is how I'm making it my own. I love that. This is how it pertains to my children's interest in the classroom. So it really is supposed to be this motivational, inspirational tool. So I'm so happy that your teachers connected it in that way.
So the other thing I would say is that my teachers, all of them have different backgrounds in terms of education experiences. And some of my teachers are more experienced in early childhood than others. I mean, they have education experience in elementary school. And so for us, the curriculum also guided us in what was developmentally appropriate for different ages and which skills were going to be addressed. So one of the things that I loved about it is it gave my teachers the beginning language to share with parents. As we're doing this project, these are the skills that we're working on. And so at that point, it allowed my teachers then to start the conversation with parents. And I thought that was very important.
Yeah, it sounds like it really empowered them to feel like, hey, I could do this, and it wasn't just like we were putting them in the dark. You really gave them that support that they needed.
Right. So not only the support that they needed, but again, it created the partnership that we were looking for between the parents and the teachers. And it empowered that relationship, which I think is very, very important in a Reggio-inspired school.
Yeah, yeah. So my last question to you would be, a lot of directors look at the curriculum and they're like, yeah, this is really great in theory, but I don't have the budget for it right now, or I don't know, and I don't know, my teachers are connected with it. And everyone, human nature is to procrastinate. Human nature is to push off a decision as far off as you possibly can, right? That's just human nature. So my question to you is, as a director, speaking to other directors, what would be your take on it, your piece of advice on how valuable is the investment and how important is it to have something like this in your school?
So for us, it was a minor investment with a lot of bang for the buck, right? So that was a curriculum or set. I don't even look at it as a curriculum per se, because I think a curriculum has more of a scope and sequence. I look at it as a skills-based idea launcher.
Cool. I like that.
That allowed my teachers to then springboard. It was an investment in my teachers, not just my students. And because my teachers then had a set of skills and a toolbox that they can go to. So the initial investment, we did the investment at the end of the school year. I mean, if we had done it earlier in the school year, I think it would have been much more effective in some ways, because it would have given us a whole year to work on it. I chose to do it at Pesach time, probably the most stressful time of the year to have for this. My teachers probably will tell you it was the most stressful time for me us to have done this.
Right.
But had we done it throughout the course of the school year,
Right.
it would have been invaluable for us, because it would have given us a lot of structure to a very unstructured program.
Right. Wow. Wow. Thank you so much, Anita. That's great. I'm sure that will help a lot of directors just get a better picture of what they're really looking at.